Welcome to the Austin All Day Podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and this is episode 18. We're here with pastry chef Mike Winkelman of Lonesome Dove. This is Austin's culinary frequency, an opportunity for chefs to get out of the kitchen, take a break, and have a conversation to connect with other chefs. It's also an opportunity for people who aren't in a kitchen to learn what it's like to actually be a chef here in Austin. You guys, I hope you're enjoying. A genuine thank you to everyone who's listening. Don't be shy to DM me on Instagram at Austin All Day Podcast. Tell me what you're thinking of the podcast, and sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy. I'm here with Chef Mike, Lonesome Dove.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you? Staying dry?
Oh, not bad. Could have had some better weather.
Could have had some better weather. But you were in the kitchen earlier this morning.
I was.
Getting ready for Mama's Day.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. You're going to be there?
I'll be there. I'll be there bright and early.
You guys are doing like a special brunch?
Yeah, special menu for brunch.
You guys always do brunch on the weekends?
No, only Easter, Mother's Day.
Okay.
And then we get destroyed on Thanksgiving.
But Easter and Mother's Day they're pretty
standard.
And pretty busy, right?
Yeah, do 150.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. I went out on Easter, and I usually don't do that, but I was surprised that we got seated right away. And
I mean, the thing is, even places that aren't open for brunch normally open for brunch those
right.
days. It seems counterproductive, kind of, but
right. So, well, cool, man. What else is going on with you?
Not much. Gardening, the spring. This rain is blowing the garden's out of control. This last blast of rain we've got, it's unstoppable now.
The garden's like the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good to hear, right?
Well, I mean, can't complain because in August it'll all be dead from the heat.
Right.
So,
what do you got in the garden? I saw some photos. It looks like you've got raised beds.
Yeah, raised beds. Tomatoes, squash coming in real good. Lots of herbs. Okra's unstoppable.
Okay.
Asian long beans, though, I'm really excited about. I actually rigged it so they'll grow across a rope I have across the yard, so I can just pull them off as they come. Okay.
Nice, yeah, that's good. So two raised beds? One.
2 raised beds.
And the raised beds, you do that because the ground gets so hot, right? And you raise them up, or is it just easier to work with?
To me, it's easier to work with. Plus, we bought the house. It came with the right amount of cinder blocks piled up to make 2 raised beds. Yeah,
I got you. That's good, though. Yeah, keep that going. But the tomato plant, I saw some pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's coming good. I asked because I need tips.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going on luck a lot, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like at a certain point, just plant a lot, and some of it'll grow and some of it won't.
I had so 3 years ago, I planted these tomato plants, and it was like this. The rain was crazy, and they just grew. And I guess I forget if it's called determined or undetermined. Do you know the name where the tomato plant will just continue to grow? I can't remember if that's the right. So these plants just grew crazy, and I kind of had the opposite. My approach now is plant a little less because they grew into each other and basically ended up dying because I just couldn't maintain.
Oh yeah, you've got to sometimes just pick out the weak ones so the other ones can.
Yeah, this got so out of control almost overnight that so now my approach is do a little bit so I can focus on that stuff. Have you heard of putting tomato plants and putting a basil plant right next to it?
Yeah, they talk about stuff like things that grow together, like flavors together, flavor profiles. But I feel like a lot of it is so they have the thing of planting squash, corn, and beans so that the squash keeps the ground from drying out, and the corn grows up and the beans grow up the corn.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that Tres Hermanos.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that things complement each other.
Sure.
And I mean, but I'm no farmer by any means.
Right.
I'm really just throwing seeds out and seeing what'll grow.
Right. I'm the same way. So it's like if something sprouts, I'm happy. I'm not trying to like, strategically plant things right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've tried some that just did not work. So
really?
I've just given up.
Well, but that's the only way to do it, right? Yeah. You got to try. So, Lonesome Dove, though, I'm going to go back to that. How long you been over there?
Well, so I opened the place, and then I took a hiatus. I was having some personal issues. Right. Kind of sent myself to rehab. Okay. But I gotta be honest. So in this business, I was lucky enough. I could just go to Nantucket for 5 months and like work every day and just and get paid to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So 5 months?
Yeah.
Really? So you opened Lonesome Dove. You good now?
Yeah. So I've been back about I don't know, 8 months now.
So you were working when you went on your.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to get out for a while.
Okay, so when you say like a rehab,
I mean not I'm just using that as a. I mean, it's no secret that this business is full of like criminal types. People want to party too much.
Absolutely,
and I was certainly one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so like my wife and I actually met in Marthas Vineyard 10 years ago. Which we loved it. We loved Marthas Vineyard. I got this job offer in Nantucket. I thought, how different could they be? It's complete. It sucked. Nantucket was awful.
Right, really?
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't be more different than an island that's 10 miles away from another island.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny. When I asked if you could come out here, you were like, it took 25 years, but I finally got the weekend off.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. So that's what it requires sometimes, right?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of also feel like I work to develop a skill set that's kind of a daytime.
Yeah.
Daytime world.
We were talking a little bit.
Right.
More morning people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always been that way for you?
I think so. So I went to pastry school, and I feel like part of the reason I did it is because I like daytime hours.
Yeah, like a subliminal something.
Right.
That was a reason. But pastry, man, you can get stuck working really early morning hours, almost considered late night.
Yeah.
Did that ever happen to you?
I'm not. I mean, I'll make it in at 4 a.m. sometimes. That doesn't bother me too much.
You get out there, what, 12, 1, 2?
Sometimes I'll be there till 4 p.m. I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually, 7 to 5, but, things happen.
So 25 years. I don't know, man. Where would you even begin? That's the culinary career, right? 25 years?
About 20. Let's say 20, 20. Real, not fucking off,
You're from Texas?
I actually grew up in Northern California.
California.
And...
beautiful, right?
Yeah, I mean... If you're from there, it's kind of boring. It's cow country, you know. It's like dairy land.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up in Northern California, and then I lived in Arkansas going to high school in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
All right.
Got out of there as soon as possible.
Just boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nothing to write. It's actually the 4th best city to live in. Yeah. According to Forbes. And Austin is the best.
Austin is the best, huh?
That's what they say. So I don't know where their facts came from, per se, but...
somebody in Austin, maybe.
Yeah. So went to culinary school here, and I moved here, of course, with my band.
Is the band still going?
No. And a couple of people aren't even alive from it. But,
oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens.
It happens. What were you doing in the band?
Bass player.
Bass?
Yeah.
All right. I've got to get the bass over here. What was the band's name?
Empire of Shit.
Empire of Shit.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
We had a couple, I mean, played in bands with other guys for, a couple of years, but It was, yeah, it wasn't for me ultimately.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to depend on other people to have their shit together, you know?
Yeah, especially with musicians.
Right.
You can be asking a lot. And band, I mean, that's totally, off in another direction, but bands are, they're all unique the way they function. Like, you could have a lead guy, everybody can be cohesive and write stuff together, but there's egos clashing and, tastes and, yeah, ultimately people a lot of times like take different roads.
And it didn't pay anything. That's the other thing.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're a punk rock band, you're like happy to sleep on someone's floor if they'll let you,
But you came here with the band, and is that what kind of prompted like side jobs as cooking or?
So my father was a butcher growing up, and my parents, had a couple forays into the restaurant business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I grew up around it.
Yeah.
So it's something I knew how to do, kind of,
Yeah.
But in 2002, I went to culinary school here.
And Le Cordon Bleu?
It was what's now Escoffier, I believe. But when I got done, there was nothing. I mean, Jeffrey's was the nicest restaurant in town,
Yes. We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. So that's why Alta went to Chicago. I figured if I'm going to do anything, I need to go play in the big league.
What'd you do out there?
So I worked at True for a year.
A True.
It was up off River North, up in the medical district there.
Okay.
It was big at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's actually closed now.
Is it?
But at the time, True and Charlie Trotters were
the big thing.
Yeah, they were making Chicago. After that, I kind of jumped around a while, traveled Alaska, Bahamas. Ultimately, Marthas Vineyard, which I liked, and then met my wife. The rest is history.
Bahamas? What?
Oh, it's really not as glamorous as.
Well, I've heard
it was on these these dive yachts that people charter.
Yeah. So, did you have the experience when you went out there that it was actually kind of lonely?
Well, no, it was actually the opposite, because you're on a boat with all these people that have chartered and they're on vacation, they want to party, and you're on a boat, there's nowhere to hide. You've got your rack where you can shut your little curtain.
That's it.
But yeah.
So ultimately you joined the party.
Yeah, if you can do that, because apparently the whole Caribbean has a massive coke problem.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
Yet they're still slow to everything, so I don't really get it, but
that's kind of a unique
vibe,
right?
They have this thing, island time, which means whenever it happens.
Yeah. What, are you a fan of that or no?
No.
You kind of.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah. You like things to happen when they're supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I can understand. Similar, more of a Western approach, right, to life.
Fair, maybe, but it's just, it's maddening that you can't you don't know if anything's actually going to happen,
Yeah.
Maybe I should mellow out a little more, but I'd rather shit just work than me mellow out,
For sure. So you meet your wife when you come back here, right?
In Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
We worked together, and then we moved to San Francisco for a few years.
Yeah.
I was closer to my family a little bit. And we were not going to buy a house in San Francisco, let's be honest.
Why? Because you didn't have $10 million laying around?
To buy a closet. Yeah. So we had come to we came to a friend's wedding here, and we just kind of agreed it was a good mix of culture, population density, and whatnot. And so I'd give it a go, and now we're settled down with a house with 2 dogs, garden.
Beautiful.
And chickens that we've already had to bury because raccoons got them. But
raccoons.
I'm gonna give it another go with the chickens.
Yeah. Did you try and get any revenge on the raccoons, or did you let them have it their day?
I don't know. Like they did it. I can't find. You know what I mean? Like I'll see a raccoon at night and then it's gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
little, they got those hands. Right?
Yeah, I know. I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
The creepy bastards. So yeah, give it a go, but go. I guess I don't know. A little more security around it, right?
I know it's hard. So we live over on the east side, and everybody's got chickens, and there's dogs running around. Like, I don't know. Somehow people make it work, and
yeah, you like it over there?
I do.
It's happening, right?
Yeah, like so we are finally not on the edge of society over like the other side of airport.
Yeah.
They just opened a place. I want to say it's Kome. The people from opened a little thing, a Roku. We actually might go there tonight. That's just like, it looks like it's like a maybe 12-seat sushi bar or something.
Okay, cool.
And then there's a bar over there. I don't know, they got this little complex, but like there's finally something over on the other side of airport.
Yeah. Well, it's probably not going to slow down. I mean, everything on the east side is just developing so quickly.
Well, but for a while it was that like airport was like
The
somehow,
cutoff.
it stopped there. And I felt like we were in one of kind of the last ghetto neighborhoods, still centrally located, but that's changing quick.
It's changing quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go from Lonesome Dove, do you catch a bite anywhere when you're done?
As it's going now, we kind of like to eat dinner at home more because we actually can. Like now that I'm working days.
Yeah, and the garden, right? It's nice to pick something out of there.
But I mean, there is some good places along El Zunzal is like a pupusa place right there by the HEB on 7th.
Okay.
I like to hit that place every so often.
Yeah, it's like a quick fill your belly up after work thing.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's Michoacan right there on 7th too. That like, it's a grease bomb, but you can't go wrong. Really, I mean,
yeah, typically that's the case. What about what opened right across from you guys, Commodore? Yeah,
and I don't know what like where their door is positioned. I can't see too many people coming and going, but
it's an interesting design, right?
Yeah, I only like kind of peeped inside, but it looks like there's a lot of natural light. I almost thought they were going to try and have a garden up in the top or something like that.
Well, that would be neat.
Yeah, because they've got almost the whole second floor is just kind of glass. It's like just a atrium kind of thing.
That's interesting because you wouldn't think that just looking at the building because it's like all black.
Yeah,
right on the corner there. And then you guys were next to Searsucker.
Yeah, which that's our event space.
Okay. And how's that? Is that up and going?
Yeah, I mean, it's not super busy yet, but they just kind of had another like grand opening for it.
Okay.
But yeah, the hope would be that if it gets busy, because that place is almost twice the size of Lonesome Dove.
And Searsucker was big, right?
Yeah, like their kitchen is like, half the size of the restaurant, kind of.
Yeah.
But I guess the ultimate goal would be that we would just cut a hole in the wall if it was like, I guess we're maybe testing it out for a year. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, that's above my pay grade. I don't know, but
sure,
I just make the food. But
it would be kind of cool to combine those kitchens, right?
I mean, it would be just cutting a hole in the wall, I feel like.
And cutting a hole, but the kitchen would be 3 times the size it is now.
Yeah, so the way it is, like our kitchen would be the middle of the restaurant next door.
Oh, that's how it is.
Because there's Chinatown.
Oh, okay.
So Searsucker goes all the way to the alley.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, yeah. So it wouldn't be quite like just connecting the kitchens.
No, but we know where we would drill a door if we had to.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So how do you like Lonesome Dove? I mean,
good place to work. It's a good crew.
Yeah. You guys are pros over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain camaraderie. You know, I feel like you find it or you don't sometimes.
Yeah.
I've done a couple jobs where I'm just kind of like, this is not working for me. Like,
yeah, there's no, you kind of clash, or you're not clashing rather,
or just like no interest. Like,
yeah.
And like I said, like I like a bit of the rogue aspect of like kitchen culture. I feel like I've been to a couple places where like, nobody's done anything interesting or bad or
more like a cookie cutter approach.
Yeah. And I'm like, even if you're not there, have a good story,
Sure. Yeah, I've mentioned this, I don't know if you've heard, but even when your kitchen, the walk-in art, I love that.
The Christopher Walken.
The Christopher Walken.
Right. So it's a couple years on, and a guy came in for a delivery and was like, "Oh, I just saw him downtown," and I was like, "Oh yeah." It's like, "Yeah, Matthew McConaughey," and I'm looking like, "Sure, okay, it could be Matthew McConaughey." Yeah. It's a couple years on, and it's starting to chip and fade a bit.
Where did that come from?
This guy Brian that used to be the sous chef. He's an artist of many types. He's like does sound engineer stuff, plays the drums, like painter.
Well, I love that artwork. Your artwork. I mean, obviously we can't show anybody on microphones, but it's killer.
Well, and the other thing is you got to pick where your Christopher Walken portrait's going to come from. Like, that's the one from Deer Hunter with the gun to his head.
Yeah. We've got Christopher Walken coming on their podcast next week. Just kidding. We could talk to him about that, address that. I don't know if he knows. Do you think he knows?
I mean, if he has to pick, like, if there's going to be Christopher Walkens, but he goes into the place like, okay, this is the one you get.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. So Brian should actually make a little side job out of going to, different kitchens and doing their walk-in artwork. Tell him.
I wonder how good of a business that is. Like, you're just the Christopher Walken guy.
But hey, every kitchen in Austin.
That's true.
You
got a point.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not start decorating the inside of the kitchen too?
But that's the other thing. Not every kitchen is cool and is cool.
That's
You're like, I want to paint on the walk-in door.
Yeah,
a lot of places are like, no.
Yeah, no, that's you have a point. So, but you dig Lonesome Dove?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. What do you think is next?
I don't know. Like I was saying about the fostering thing.
Yeah, we were talking before we turned the mics on. And explain a little bit.
Oh, well, my wife and I were going through the process of being foster parents.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of waiting for that to happen because I just feel like everything's going to completely change. So
yes. That would happen, right?
I'm not.
You've not
making real hard plans of like,
Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of stuff's going to take a back seat to that,
Yeah.
When that happens.
Do you guys, when you do that, do you like go get to pick a certain age, or is
No. So what they tell us, it's about getting the kid a home, not you getting you a kid.
Yeah. That's good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true, but it would be nice to say I'd like a younger child rather than.
Oh well, they get they have like age parameters, and there's some things like.
Well, I wish you luck with that, and you're absolutely right. If that all goes through the way it's planned, I'm sure everything will change.
Well, yeah, and that's I feel like everything's going to be determined by that kind of thing.
For sure. I'm curious. Do you still pick up the bass?
I do every now and then.
Yeah?
Yeah. My hands aren't as strong as they used to be.
Is that from? I mean, more pastry, right?
Yeah, but like that action of like
the
fretboard and stuff.
Right.
Not when you don't do it that much,
Yeah.
you get tired real fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an exercise.
It's an exercise. Yeah. If you do it every day, it's like push-ups, you know. If you do push-ups every day, you can do them. If you don't, you can't.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. I mean, your fingers are, but you know, it's a good way. I mean, you got the garden, so when you're working, how do you balance out, like, you know, a little stress relief? Is it the garden?
Yeah, you know, drinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty avid bicycle. I like bike to and from work. It's not that far, but it is good to, like. It's a hard pill to swallow some mornings, but hey. You know.
Once you do it, right?
Right.
I think the harder part about riding to work is sometimes probably leaving work when you're tired.
You know what? Weirdly enough, it's harder to get started. Like when I leave work, I feel like I'm already kind of like I've been up for the last 10 hours on my feet. Like it seems easier.
Right. Yeah. No, I get you. Like you're already energized.
Right.
Yeah, it's done. You're excited you're leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that can be good. I was biking for a minute, and I would go down Manchac and to Lamar, and it was all downhill. And when I would leave the work, it was all uphill. So that was the opposite for me. Like I would be pedaling uphill after a day of work the whole way. So
right.
But that's all east. It's 7th Street, and where you're.
It's all flat. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good there.
That was honestly. So I lived in Chicago. Is really when I started getting into
the cycling.
But yeah, you know, I mean, I always did, but I like lived with a bunch of like messenger types and stuff. And, did some of that, but yeah, it's easy to do in Chicago because it's flat forever.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. They talk about how Austin's like a bike-friendly place, but you were in Chicago. It's way more bike-friendly in Chicago than it is here. You come here and it's...
and it's weirdly Chicago's so like mean-spirited too about it. It's really strange, but there's I guess maybe they can because it's flat and there's not weird curves going up hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you see in like Lamar there, something like, oh sure, there's a bike lane going up by Uchi or whatever, but that sucks, man. You're pedaling up that hill, going slow. Traffic's going fast. Like,
well, that's the route I was talking about coming home.
Oh, okay,
I had to go up there. It was miserable, so it was like very hard for me to bite the bullet and ride my bike to work.
Right.
But yeah, that's a hell of a hill.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I didn't take a job at Gary Danko's when I first moved to San Francisco, because I lived on one side of Hyde, and it was all the way by the marina on the other side.
So you strategically...
I was just like, there's no way I'm going to have to walk up this hill every day and then walk up it again.
And not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. But, you know, the bike, I mean, not only is the driving different than it is in Chicago, like, you have to be careful, man, on a bike here.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
You do.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot better. And the other thing in Chicago, I feel like bicycles have this mean streak to them. Maybe it's a defensive mechanism, but like people on bikes in Chicago they're Chicago people. They'll like smash your freaking mirror off with a block or something.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, no, I get you.
So where are you from in Chicago?
So I'm from the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah, from Naperville originally.
Okay. So which is that going south or going north?
It's south of Chicago.
Okay.
And it's like 30 miles out. But what's funny is like...
You're still on Halstead.
What's that?
Like you're still on Halstead Street or something?
I don't know.
Because that was the weird, like, those streets would stretch out forever. Like,
yeah.
I'm down at like, I don't know, my girlfriend, wherever her family lived in the suburbs, and like, we're still on Milwaukee.
Right. But I kind of like that. I like that it was all laid out on the grid. And I was going to say, even though Naperville was 30 miles out, and I've done it, you can get on your bike, and you can ride to Chicago on like back little paths that they've made specifically for bikes. So when people said Austin's a bike-friendly town, when I came here, I thought 100% that I was going to be like riding everywhere every day, and it was like eye opening that it's like, I mean, it's pretty dangerous if you're going to like start commuting. I mean, in the city is one thing, but like, you know, if you start getting outside of this,
oh yeah,
like
I mean, you get
here.
You get like south of Ben White. I mean,
well, you were talking about coming here, and I said I don't know if you want to.
Yeah,
and you see, not only is it kind of far, I mean, it gets real sketchy the way people. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a, you know, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
to sum it up. So, but did you know that you can like commute through the back roads in Chicago like that?
Oh, I never lived that far out. I lived like in Humboldt Park, down in Pilsen. So like that was the other. So Chicago, it seemed like even though you're going a long distance, it's so densely populated. It's not like you're at any point in the middle of nowhere like you are here.
Right. Yeah. Chicago is the city itself is so big.
Oh, I want to say it's as big as Rhode Island or something.
Yeah, and it feels like it when you're there. It's crazy how big it is compared to Austin, because you can like walk through Austin in like an hour or two. Feels like. I mean,
but also the city of Austin's weird because I went to, like we were talking about, go pick up dirt for a garden.
Yeah,
I'm like looking on my phone. I'm still in the city of Austin. There's nothing but cows around and like these big piles of rocks and.
Oh, it's huge, right?
Yeah, like the city is, even when you're like in the middle of nowhere, you're still in Austin.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely the city, like the actual border itself, is huge. But Chicago, like if you're down surrounded by the buildings, like in the actual city, it's just huge. Right? I mean, you could be walking for hours.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And not get from, you know, the east side to the west side. And there's certain parts of Chicago you actually don't want to go to. That's still a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, so I have a funny story. I lived in one of those areas. And so that we're talking like Division in California where Humboldt Park starts.
Okay.
Apparently it's cleaned up now, but at that time it was a shooting gallery, you know?
Yeah. Well, a lot of Chicago is.
So I'm messing with a beer, fermenting the 5-gallon bottle, and a part of it breaks off, and like it's that heavy glass. It like slices me on the arm. I got to go get stitches. Have my roommate drop me off at the only hospital I know that's close to us, right there at Division in California. So I go in, there looks like one guy looks like he's holding a stab wound. There's some lady screaming her head off in Polish. It looks rough, all right?
Yeah.
I go in there, and I talk to whoever it is, and I was like, here's my insurance card. And the lady looked up at me and like calls somebody in from the next room. And I'm immediately swept away into the emergency room. And I'm thinking like, wait a minute, that guy looks like stabbed. Like, oh, no, here, come on in. Like, I feel like I was invited into the insurance lounge.
Oh, right. Yeah, because everybody's sitting there without, I mean, yeah, that's interesting and sad.
Yeah.
I mean, people aren't getting treated fairly. But Chicago is a mess. Yeah. And it's, I mean, as far as, you know, murders and shootings and the jail system there is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty ugly situation.
I still love that city, though.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I mean, there's horrible things, but like if you're going there to enjoy the city, it's awesome. You know, right? You still have people out there?
Oh, yeah. Less and less, you know, as time goes on. But, yeah, my friends Tim and Rebecca, they just opened a place, Twain, on Milwaukee and Division area there.
Twain.
You know.
What are they going for there?
I think the menu too, but, you know, seasonal American, I guess that means anything, right?
Right, yeah. And what, sorry, but Lonesome Dove, what do you guys do there?
We like to call it like Texican. It's you know, I have a Southwest flavor profile, I would say. But we mix it up, you know. I mean, we have octopus, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know. not typical Southwest, I guess. A lot of wild game.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, nice, cool. Because we've got what? Do you know any other spots that do the wild game?
So there was Hudson's on the Bend years ago. I think they have another spot.
It's on 620, yeah.
But which I haven't been to that, but my good friend who's passed away now, he used to be the chef de cuisine at Hudson's on the Bend years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, back then they were, bear quesadillas and rattlesnake cakes and all that kind of thing.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool,
Bear quesadilla.
And like the way he talked about some of these purveyors sounded like they were just weird, like almost drug dealer type.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a line on some hippo or something like that,
Yeah, that's funny. I've mentioned it a couple times, but they opened up Wild. It's called Wild Kitchen, Bar and Kitchen or something on 71. It's on the way to you could get to 620 Hudson on the Bend. But yeah, that's interesting. I've never even gone anywhere like that to eat.
I mean, I'll say this though, like these game things, and I don't know what causes it, but like quail tastes just like frog legs, kangaroo tastes just like venison, like a lot of it. There's not huge.
It's a novelty almost.
Yeah, so I'll do one thing I did have in Peru: guinea pig, the cuy.
Ooh.
That was one thing that I've eaten that actually has a weirdly distinct flavor to it.
In a good way?
I thought it was good.
How was that prepared?
So I went to this class and they brought one in, and pretty much we just rubbed it in like kind of a herb paste, Peruvian style, baked it off.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
There's a picture on Instagram, but it looks exactly like it did when it, you know what I mean? Like after it's cooked, it still looks just like a rat.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's not up my alley. But if we could start cooking rats, we'd be in a good spot. We could start cleaning them up a little bit. All right.
Well, this is the other thing. The beauty of these guinea pigs is that they can raise it was like a child's playpen.
Yeah.
And you can have like 10 of them in there.
And just pick one out and eat it. Yeah, you're good to go. It's kind of like chickens, right? Yeah, it's their take on chickens. So your woman, she's what's she do?
She's in finance for a solar company, SunPower.
Okay. You're at this stage in your career where you've got some balance, right?
Yeah.
And how was when you guys first met? Were you working different kind of hours, or have you always been?
Well, when we first met, she was actually working in the restaurant. That's how we met.
Okay. And she got out of it.
Right.
So we do a little golf clap for her. The industry wasn't her thing.
Well, I mean, she had, a degree in economics and stuff. It was like, not what she was out to do.
Right, yeah. Well, but did the hours ever affect like you as like a chef and her not, was she ever frustrated with it? Yeah,
that was, so that was part of the reason I needed a hiatus.
Okay.
That, I was just coming home at 1 a.m., and then, when you get off at 1 a.m. from work, nothing productive happens.
No.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, you've got an hour to go to a bar and, drink as much as you can.
Right.
However, there's people, whatever, they like that, which is fine. You can have all of it, like.
Well, I think you can enjoy that until your body tells you you're getting older and
right.
It's not going to work for you. Yeah. So that was part of the reason. And now you guys are good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. You have plans for the future?
I
think I asked you this, but
I don't know. Like, so My wife, she's talked about it before.
Oh yeah, we were talking about foster kids. So
well, and she's got a business degree, and so I would say she kind of sees more of the benefit of, whereas I also see for years the margins restaurants work on. So I'm slightly apprehensive to open a restaurant.
Yeah, well, in Austin or just in general?
I mean, kind of in general, but I will say this: it seems like Austin, there's got to be a breaking point. There's so many restaurants.
Yeah.
You'd think everyone's eating out every meal.
Yeah, there is, right? It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That's why, I was the East Side, and there has to be a breaking point. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, there's got to be some form. It's how many consumers do you need to support all these businesses?
And it's interesting because it's true. It's cool. I mean, there's so many places, but at the same time, maybe it just seems that way. And there are so many people that have come here and that are continuing to come here that maybe it just seems like a lot of places. But I mean, people are probably frequenting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean. If I guess a good restaurant is going to be a good restaurant, and I'm curious if a lot of people just have this person oh, isn't this a cool idea? Let's do it, and maybe it wasn't that cool of an idea.
Yeah.
Although I will say so maybe places just also are bad because. The Contigo guys opened that place on 6th Street, and that was 2 restaurants. One went down, and the other one they revamped afterward. That one went down, too.
Wait, what, on 6th Street?
Yeah, so it was...
not in the fairground? No, that's
no, it's right by the post office, by Counter Cafe there.
What? Oh, yeah, Chicone.
Chicone, and there was something before that I really liked it. It was a very vegetable-forward kind of menu.
Yeah, that was the chef there, PJ. Did you know him?
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, he opened a place in San Antonio called Meadow.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to catch up with him. But, okay, so, yeah, they opened.
And it's not like they don't know what they're doing.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
I feel the place is just somehow not... right for that.
It's very weird. Well, we were talking about Bonhomie and the St. Philip's, that.
Yeah.
And those are great places too.
St. Philip's, yeah, it was hard if it was one of the, if you passed it, you had to drive 5 miles in a circle to get back to it kind of thing.
You would attribute that to possibly location.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. To me, it seemed like a weird location. Plus, I don't like driving,
Yeah. Well, but it is, it's weird. Certain things will work and certain things won't work.
Right.
It's almost like, I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's above my pay grade.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's, I don't know, finance issues and stuff like that.
All kinds of things.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not always the food's awesome, this is awesome. You can do costing and all that kind of stuff, and it goes down the shitter for whatever reason.
Right. I mean, I feel like leases are 20,000. I remember in Chicago, the lease on a place in River North was $20,000 a month.
Wow, that is crazy. You could do a lot with 20 grand.
Yeah.
But, when you say you're a little apprehensive or skeptical about opening a place, or a good restaurant might work, and then, we kind of say, well, I don't know. We got good restaurants that close too.
Right. And I'm also would be torn between a place I would want to open and one that I think would work.
Yeah.
Given my own devices or something, I'd open up a 20-seat tasting menu place and call it the Devil's Workshop or something like that.
That's cool.
Or a nose-to-tail place. But I'm apprehensive that those would work.
Well, I've heard of places like that just went through an absorbent amount of money to take care of guests. And literally, was, feeding like 20 people a night, and that was it. And they were basically paying to do it, not the guests, the people, who were running the operation. More of it was like a experience for them,
right?
Which is not what you want. You want to be lucrative,
right? And
but that sounds awesome. But that's like the dream, right? To be able to do something like that,
right? And at the end of the day, like you got to turn a profit. You got
to turn a profit.
There's what you want to do, and then there's what people will pay for, I guess.
Right. We talked about this with a guy who like consults for food trucks and stuff, and it seems kind of like a cop out to say, because it's weird how some restaurants can be great and close, and like I said, we don't know why, but I kind of think, and like it's not like a fairy tale approach, but like if you're passionate about it, you know what I mean, and it's not like you want to be lucrative. Like, you obviously need to check the boxes to make it work, like to be lucrative and whatever. But like, if you really want to make it work and you're really excited about it and you keep that like momentum going, maybe those are the places that kind of, and this, I'm just speaking like theoretically, like if you open it and you just keep pushing it and you keep pushing it and you keep pushing it, maybe those are the places that kind of like take off.
Well, and I'm trying to think who. I think it was the guy from Counterculture. I forget his name. Was talking about how Austin wants to consider itself this really forward-thinking city, but
that's Counter Cafe, yeah,
or Counter Cafe, yeah. But like, let's be like, we don't even have a vegetarian restaurant in this town that's like that good.
Yeah, we were
with all these lefties and hippies and tech people,
just let's call it out. I mean, we don't need to name names, but like, you can do a Google search of the vegetarian places.
Oh, and they're going to give you two of them that are horrible, like at the top of the list.
Right. I mean, well, we can. I mean, I'll say we've got like places that would come up, like, is it called Mother's?
Yes,
and like Bolden Creek, and like
Bolden Creek's not bad. I mean, I dig Bolden Creek.
That's one, but that's one that will come up. And then we've got, there's more than that.
So Gardner was the place we were before Chacon that we were.
Okay, Gardner, but it was good.
I liked it. It was vegetable forward. It wasn't like vegetarian per se.
Yeah.
But my thinking is like, is really the market just not there for people wanting to eat like, vegetable forward diets or meals?
He had a good point when he said that, and it's surprising too, because this day and age where people are so concerned with like health or like fitness, and it's a real trendy thing too.
Right.
And then the vegetarian vegan thing is huge. And yeah, not forget calling anybody out like the Mothers, Bolden Creek, anything like that, but like, we don't have, you're right, like some place that just kind of specializes in like a vegetarian menu that's killer, right?
Right, and we're not in the middle of Montana, you know what I mean? Like, we're sauce, we should have that, it seems like.
I haven't.
It seems bizarrely underrepresented.
Yeah, amongst, I have this podcast from last night that isn't up yet, but we kind of got into a lot of things. He was sort of passionate about some things that he did not like about, Austin. And I don't think in a negative sense, like maybe bringing like some awareness, sort of like how Philip had said that about, Austin likes to think it's this forward-thinking place.
Right.
Well, we were talking a little bit about how the prices have kind of skyrocketed. So when you go out, where once upon a time you'd be spending X amount of dollars, you'd be expecting a certain kind of service, and now it just seems like everything is expensive.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, you look downtown and like, what do those condos cost? One of those like,
right? Yeah,
I mean, so, I mean, I think inflation, and as far as like, a lot of these people, like, I hear a lot about like Austin changed so much, prices went up. If Austin hadn't changed, I would have never come back here.
Yeah.
Like I left here to go to another city where there was a better restaurant scene.
Right. You hear people say that in a negative.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I had if it hadn't changed in the way it has, I'd have no reason to come here.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's obviously evolving with all the people that are coming here, right? I mean, there's a lot of good things that are happening here, and I mean, Austin's great, right?
I love this city.
Yeah, I didn't see. I wish I could have experienced Austin before all the restaurants popped up and the fashion that they did, but I'm getting the picture in my head, and it sounds insane to think that, like, Jeffrey's, and now, like, we can, like, throw a stone and go somewhere that's kind of a fun experience, and
right.
It's great to eat. But you got to see some of that, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, so I went to school like 2002, so I was here 5 or 6 years before that. Like back then, I feel like I lived up at one point up airport and Lamar area, and like telling people, they're like, "Oh my God, you live where? Jesus Christ, that's like so." Or south of Ben White. I was like, "Oh no, that's way too far."
Yeah.
And like now, that's nothing.
It's nothing. That's how this feels. Well, I feel like I'm like way out there.
Oh yeah, this feels way. Was this here like 15 years ago?
Sure not. No.
Yeah, I mean,
15 years ago, I'm sure not at all. But that's like the same thing in Naperville where I grew up. Like, it was a farm town,
right?
And it's like huge now. I mean, over 100,000 people. I mean, in Naperville, but it's crazy. But you've got, but like you've had farm town and now it's like filled out. I've been saying here, it's like, I'm just going to sit here and wait, and pretty soon this is just going to feel like, just like you said, it's not far, it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it seems a little, and I realize I may be speaking about something I don't really know about, but like this whole like brain drain and like, or brain factory, as it were, of like UT and engineers and companies. It seems bizarre we're trying to like cram all this stuff into Austin, whereas like a place like San Antonio, I feel like they've got some empty blocks of stuff and a big city infrastructure, and like they seem some of these companies could have, I don't know, built there. You know, it seems like Austin we're like trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Whereas like San Antonio's kind of already a bigger city that could have like handled a lot of, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is interesting, and yeah, I don't know either, but it's
an hour down the road.
Yeah, it's not far.
People in Texas drive an hour to pick up their mail sometimes, you know, like
yeah. But it's been speculated that Austin and San Antonio.
They're just going
to merge.
Yeah, I mean, you drive down there, there's not a lot of, like, space where there's nothing.
Right, and that's happened in California. I mean, but a lot of people are coming here from there.
I mean, back east, D.C. to Boston is just one continuous, you know, city, suburb, city, suburb, city, suburb.
I think we might see that. The good thing is, you can go to San Antonio by taking like 281, all these back roads off of 290, and it's gorgeous. And I don't think any of that will change. That's like country.
Yeah.
And I hope that stays that way. I mean, they should. I mean, it's beautiful. I love that drive.
I mean, I feel like there's a certain aspect of Texas that's like got to kind of stay the same, you know.
Oh yeah.
If we lose our cows, where the hell are we, you know?
Right. Well, but it's interesting when these places are popping up downtown. I look at it and I'm like, but how? when all these places are filled and all these people have come here to fill these jobs, how are we going to continue? Like, traffic. I mean, I'm just saying this. I'm not beating a dead horse, but like, I drive every single day and I literally watch it grow like you can see it, almost like you can see like an infection getting worse. Like,
right.
I mean, it's a bad analogy, but that's because I don't mean it, and it's so negatively, but it's just crazy. It's happening so quickly that you can like physically, like month to month, say, "Oh, this is taking a little bit longer."
Well, there's a mentality too that like perplexes me. It seems like much of the West and the South, people have this idea that if you take public transportation, you're a second-class citizen or something.
Yeah.
Like, people are so in love with their cars.
That's another thing. When I was coming here, I did all this research about biking, and I wanted to take the train because I was going to live up in Round Rock. I was going to try. That's where we were going to start out, and the train is
useless.
It's useless, and it could be so much better. You know what I mean? Like if they actually, I don't understand. It's useless.
Yeah, I mean, if you get out of work after 6, it just doesn't do anything.
And it like doesn't run on. I mean, I might be wrong, but like it wasn't running on the weekends.
Something. Yeah, it's. We live kind of close to it, but yeah, it seems.
And it's so small that if you decide to take, I brought my bike on that thing, and it was cram packed. You know, like there's not enough space.
Yeah.
And the one in Chicago, you know, you can go anywhere, and you sit down. I mean, you can bring a case of beer on there.
I was going to say, like, let's be honest. You can also get stabbed on the train in Chicago.
Yeah, well, those are subways, like, or the L trains.
The L. You're talking about the Metro train.
The Metro train.
Oh, yeah.
But that's similar to the train here.
Right. So you know what? Like, you probably remember this. Then in Chicago, literally every single day, the news has of a train getting hit by a car hitting a train.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, the trains just spoke out in every direction, and they must cross streets like 1,000 times each.
Yeah. You know what I remember about Chicago was there would always be these horrific stories every morning. You know, like a bank robbery, you know, these shootings, these murders. And when I turn on the news here, it's like, cedars in the air. We're going to get a lot of rain today.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus on the rain that's coming for 15 minutes of this news broadcast. You don't hear anything about... So that's one nice thing.
Yeah, so people ask me about, like, oh, well, the winters in Chicago, it must be terrible. Like, got to be honest, the summers here, they're not that pleasant either.
How long were you in Chicago?
5 years.
So what happened to me was it wasn't so much that it's hard to, you know, navigate in the snow and shovel the driveway and all that stuff. It was that, yes, the summers here get brutal, but the sky would get gray in Chicago for so many months.
Oh, yeah.
And occasionally the sun would come out and it'd be this burst of happiness and you'd feel great and it's sunny, and then it would be dark and dreary again. And that, for the 30 years that I was there, was like, at a certain point I was like, I can't even do this. Like, you know, it was in the middle of winter and I was like, you don't want to get out of bed. And it was like, wow. And here it's total opposite. Sunshine, it's sun, but man, the heat can be brutal.
Oh, I think it's equal because I literally just like don't even want to walk outside. I like open the door and I'm immediately sweating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even want to walk outside. I feel like this is what vampires feel like or something, you know?
Yes, I can relate. But for me, the trade-off is, you know, the long, you know, no sun versus sun all the time, you know, cold, you know, that trade-off there. I opt for sun all the time and brutal heat rather than no sun and brutal cold.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, you could get, it's a city built, you can get around too. Like, just because it's cold and snowing, it doesn't mean like you can't get around where.
Well, you know, I grew up there, so that's definitely part of it. But the grid system, how everything's just laid out, you can go anywhere. It's not hard to tell people how to get in here. You know, you're going like on some kind of roller coaster highway, you know, it's going in a circle and you're merging and suddenly you took the wrong turn. And Houston's like 10 times worse.
Yeah, Houston is funny. Like, people from Houston and people in LA have this thing of like, it's down the road, which means like you get on I-10 and then on Westheimer and then the Loop Highway and then you're right there. It's like, so it's like 20 miles away.
Right.
Like, that's
yeah. But I'm very much miss the grid system.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. Even if I say go downtown to Slaughter, Manchac, and you can pull right there to Sixth Street eventually, or Fifth Street, whatever. You go right to Whole Foods if you do that. That's the easiest directions I can give you. Go Slaughter to Manchac, and you'll end up to Lamar. Manchac to Lamar, and then you'll end up at Whole Foods.
Yeah, a lot of cities didn't use the whole straight line system to map there.
But that's the only time I can do that. Give directions like that. Other than that, it's all over the place.
Yeah,
we're twisting and turning. But it is what it is. But they do need to. We were talking about public transportation, and second class citizen. No, use it, utilize it, and then maybe people will upgrade that train, because the train is obnoxious, and they should build it out and change the hours and use it.
Well, I mean, the fact that people just, for some reason, like, no, I want to be in my car. Like, you've been in traffic. How many people is there only one person in a car?
Right. And do they do what's it called? The
high occupancy?
Well, the lane that you can go in.
Yeah, the high occupancy vehicle. I have no idea.
I don't think they've seen it here.
I mean, whatever. I can bitch about it, but try not to be involved in it, I guess, is the best,
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, I would be on my bike more if it wasn't as dangerous in this part of town. And then the public transportation, it's not all, could be better. So
yeah, I'm not. Does it come out? Does it come out here?
Yeah, it does. But like I said, it's not. It does. Yeah, it comes to Slaughter and all this area.
Oh, okay.
But it's not something that everyone can take. Do.
Right.
I don't think so. But they could if it were more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, if it worked. But if you're like, people don't like the idea.
I don't know why.
And so it's not going to generate money.
Yeah. Well, it's like a me.
It's a cultural thing.
It's definitely a cultural thing, because this is that's what America's like right now.
Because I knew people in San Francisco, not so much in Chicago, but 26 years old, don't have a driver's license. Like, why?
Yeah. I got a girl on the east side who, she came here in a Suburban, just sold it, and she just lives there. She walks everywhere she needs to go. She works close. And I'm like, man, I'm so jealous of that. I mean, she doesn't even have a bike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, walking, it may be good for you, but it's not an efficient way of getting around.
Not when it's August.
Yeah. Well, biking's not that great then either. But.
Oh, yeah. It can be very bad. But Lonesome Dove, you've got brunch tomorrow. You're going to be there tomorrow?
Oh, I'll be there.
And it's funny because I said it took you 20 years to get the weekends off, but you were working this morning.
Yeah, I mean, special occasions are special occasions.
Special occasions. And you guys doing it? Your folks still around?
My folks live in California.
Yeah.
I don't see them as much as I'd like to, but we'll probably make it out there this year.
Do a little FaceTime chat with your mom?
Yeah, they're not the most. You know what? They're pretty computer savvy for their generation.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, it could work, but I feel like the last time it happened, my dad's walking around with a computer, just can't believe that this is actually happening. You know,
he was more just thrilled with the experience rather than having a conversation.
Right.
Well, it's funny because he'll do that, and I got a 5-year-old. She's the same way. She'll run around with the phone, and she's not talking to me. She's showing me stuff, but she will get on the FaceTime with the grandparents and literally start playing and just no. You got to stay. Don't get off the phone with me. She'll be playing with her toys and stuff.
I think it's very strange, I guess, showing my age or whatever, but like there's a couple generations of people now that know nothing else but like all this like free information flowing everywhere and the whole world being connected.
Yeah. We talked about that last night too. Like there was a time when you would call somebody,
right,
and say from a line with a cord, like the cord, I'll be over in 15 minutes, or I'll be over in a little bit, and then when you get there, you gotta, hello, is anybody here? Like those days are gone. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Where are you? Oh
yeah, I remember hitchhiking as a kid. I had a map. Like I brought a map that I folded and unfolded 100 times,
And let me ask you, if you didn't have your phone, would you have been able to get here at all today?
Yeah. Well, you told me, so no, I did rely on a little, because you told me Manchac and Slaughter, so I just like headed for those directions and then I did use the phone to see where the hell I'm going now.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you got to use the phone. I mean, it's the new map, right?
Yeah.
And people are out and about much more than they used to be because of the GPS. You can just go wherever you need to. But yeah, it's a different time, man. I mean, there's children who know nothing else.
Right, and that's going to be, the fact that that's all they know, and they're probably thinking stuff like, why didn't you get this stuff years ago? Like, dumbass,
Oh, yeah. It's I don't know. It makes you question, like, yourself a little bit. But I get romanticized and very nostalgic about the fact I'm so grateful I grew up without a phone.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it could be cool seeing the kids, whatever, but they don't know they're never going to know anything else. We actually experienced, I mean, not everybody who might be listening to this experienced it, but we experienced a time where there was no smartphone in your pocket. And I don't know. When I reminisce, you can't beat that.
Right, and like
it was so much more quiet. Like it was more peaceful.
I was actually thinking about, are they still teaching kids long division and things like this in school? And if they do, is the reason why, just in case you don't have your phone or a calculator. Yeah. And my thought is like, if you don't have your phone, you're probably panicking, and you don't really care about long division.
Oh, yeah, right. You have a good point. I mean, I wonder if they are changing the way they teach.
Or cursive? What the hell are we going to use cursive for?
Well, they stopped writing.
Is that done?
I heard that.
Okay.
I don't know the actual details. Sometimes I feel like if I've heard about this, like I heard about the IHOP thing, changing their name.
Okay.
To iBurger or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was like just this big marketing thing. So when I hear about the cursive thing, I have to question everything that I hear now. I'm like, I thought I heard that they were going to get rid of cursive, but I don't know.
But I mean, it makes sense. Like,
it makes
literally everything tells you to print.
Yeah. No, that's true. But like, it's weird leaving stuff like that behind, right? I mean, I could never do division anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
ever. But
well, so my wife actually was substitute teaching briefly, and that whole little thing with that like sideways L kind of, that's not even how they do it anymore.
They do the little dots?
I don't know what they do, but like even she's 10 years younger than me, and she was still like, I'm not sure what this new formula is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the times they are changing. I mean, weed is becoming legal.
Right, and mushrooms are legal now.
Yeah, and where?
Colorado.
I've kind of breezed over that, like when it becomes legal here, because I'm assuming when
it'll be the last place in America.
It'll be the last place in America, but when it does, like I'm sure we'll see it. We'll see some cool restaurants pop up, or people start to incorporate it into their menu.
Oh yeah, I mean I feel like you could, like Wheatsville or something, you can get hemp milk. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It's like another, milk alternative or whatever.
So hemp milk, but does that have like the CBD in it?
No, it's just literally like
milk.
soy milk or something.
Well, we can get that, but I'm talking about like actually infusing.
Yeah,
cannabis with oils.
I have thought about this. So I've heard the leaves are really super healthy for you, and
for chopping them up in like a garnish,
salad or something.
Yeah.
I haven't had really the occasion to have it to where I'm eating them to check their flavor profile, but it is somewhat of a bittering thing. I can imagine you're kind of crusting fish in it or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I feel like it does have somewhat of a, I don't want to compare it to anise or something, but some kind of a herby, bittery kind of element to it. And I mean, hell, who knows what they can do? They can maybe alter this stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, they definitely will.
With what they can do with weed, maybe they can give it flavor profiles. I don't know.
Oh, we were talking about, planting basil next to a tomato.
Right.
It's probably no different.
Right.
And it's all being basically it's just being discovered, what we can and can't do with it. So it'll be interesting when it comes here. I wanted to almost focus on that a little bit with everybody because we can consistently do the podcast, and then when we do see that day, then we can say, okay, we've talked about this a little bit. Now what are we going to start doing?
Right.
Because it will be very interesting. Colorado has got that going on. I don't know what it's like to go there. But
I feel like one of them that I don't know if it's interesting or sad about weed becoming legal is the weed I would smoke as a teenager. Nobody would touch that shit now.
Oh no.
People would look at them and be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. It's like the brown,
right?
Yeah, a little kind of sticky. Yeah. Well, it's because it was jumped on and
packed into bricks.
Yeah,
brought from who knows where,
somewhere in Mexico.
Right.
But today you almost have to be careful because it's so potent and good.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't even I can't even smoke weed anymore because
if
it's one of those things
blown out of your mind.
Just one hit and I'm done. You know.
I think that's kind of funny. It's crazy. Yeah, they're doing the Incredible Hulk kind of stuff with the weed.
Right.
You actually have to be careful with it, and then the edibles and the whole. Yeah, but can you imagine that on the Lonesome Dove menu?
Oh, I mean, I could see that for sure.
I know, so could I. That's why I'm kind of thinking one day we'll see it. But yeah, man. Anything else you want to touch on?
Not too much. Summer doldrums are just around the corner.
Summer doldrums.
Yeah.
What's this?
Well, Austin tends to quiet way down in the summer.
I call it the slump.
The slump. Yeah. So that's probably good. You probably up your plenty of people with plenty of time.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
I mean, up your production.
Yeah, we're. I mean, you see these. We're cranking these out. I just want to keep doing these. They're actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Well, good. And when everybody comes here, I want them to take a break. You're coming out of the kitchen. Don't rearrange your your life with your family. Come here when you have a second.
Right.
And it's also, this is not the one and done podcast with you. You can come back. I mean, things obviously evolve. You who knows? Maybe you get a kid.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come talking about what it's like to do that. I mean, do you guys have an ETA for the yay or nay?
It's a slower process than we thought. And like I say, I'm not 100% how much I'm supposed to even mention. There's restrictions on social media photos and stuff like that. So
okay.
But I think it's around the corner. I think so.
Good.
I think it's coming up.
Well, that'll be awesome. I mean, I think that'd be good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, no children up until now.
Yep.
You can. I don't know. I think chefs make, well, I mean, besides the working chef that's, working all these ungodly hours, but you've come to a point where that's not the case, or you're able to balance out a little bit.
And I gotta say, like, I wonder how the hell my parents did it, like when I was growing up. But I guess it's like I was in the restaurant, like,
Did you?
Whether I was like sleeping in a booth or like washing dishes or something, which is completely illegal now.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'd be having my daughter do it though. What age?
I think up till pretty steady up till I was like 12, I guess.
So you got started young.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things like, oh, after school, there I am, or whatever, like.
Yeah. Did you have any idea that you'd end up just like gravitating towards restaurants back then?
No, I didn't. I didn't think about it, and I also didn't take it seriously till I was probably like 26 too. So
yeah. And you had when did you stop the band thing?
It like petered out slowly. So actually, I want to give a shout out to a couple of the guys that were in the band. We all worked at Ruby's Barbecue, which is now gone.
Ruby's, okay.
Yeah. And so did a whole generation of fuck ups and artists and musicians and thieves and junkies worked there like for years. But yeah, so that's actually kind of what got me. Like I'd had job, but like this was the first like purely scratch place I'd ever worked.
Okay, so your introduction to what that was like,
right? Because I'd like, been in kitchens and whatnot, and like, but it was then I started like really like. Getting the sense of like you're building this like from the ground up,
right?
And then like I don't know that I was a very good musician anyway. I was a performer, if anything,
right? Sometimes that's all it takes.
Maybe that is. It was one of those things where like we're recording and I'm like, okay, it sounds good enough. Just move on to the next one, and everyone else is like listening intently.
Yeah, I'm that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm a musician, really.
Yeah, I get weird. I'll sit there and tweak our voice sounds and it's just the sound of our voice.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. People get caught up on different things. But yeah, so that Ruby's though, that's interesting. So, you said you've worked in kitchens, but like there's definitely kitchens that like they just throw you on a line and give you, you don't see the scratch part of it,
right?
And so when you get to see that's cool though, and it sounds like you kind of like gravitate towards you said like the rogue aspect of the kitchen, and
yeah, and it was also everyone there, played in a band.
Yeah, yeah,
and we all went out to see their band, and it was very gang mentality almost.
Yeah, but that's. And that's kind of where you've stuck. If you've gone somewhere and it's not worked, you kind of went somewhere where it would work. Right?
And Pat, I still talk to her. All the people from that place are still good friends of mine.
Where was Ruby's?
It was at 29th and Guadalupe.
Okay.
They were open for 30 years.
Oh, wow. See? You never know. The Frisco, that closed up. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But see, these places, you never know, right? Restaurants open, it's got a good thing going, 30 years gone. Why? They closed just out of the blue?
I mean, Pat, I feel, didn't take a day for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Owned it, and it's good. I mean,
yeah.
We'd all been telling her to take a day off for 20 years, so.
So she took a lot of days off.
Yeah.
Well, hell, congratulations to her, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, but this podcast, yeah, if we got the summer's coming, people can get in here. Anybody who wants to come in here, bring them on in here.
We could probably rustle some people up.
Spice it up. Like I said, I'll get this guy mixed and up there. But the one yesterday, Chef Christian from the JW, it's an interesting one because we've had a conversation. We talked about some things, but it was I think he almost went into some controversial things that he was saying, and where I'm still going to put it up there because I want to have the conversation.
Right.
I like if people. Obviously, you can come on the podcast without listening, but if you've listened in, there is kind of like a dialogue that's being created here where we can reference like things that Phil's brought up a lot of good things. He's coming back like 2 weeks from now, a week or two.
Okay, yeah, he was. I gotta say, he was probably my favorite so far.
Awesome, man. I keep referencing him, and then I went in there and talked to him, and we just started immediately shooting the shit again. And I was just like, dude, got to come back. So,
right. I actually want to go by and talk to him.
You have to, man.
I feel like he had a little bit of the same story of.
So he also suggested, and I had thought this 2 nights ago we had 3 people here, including myself. So me, Chef Richard from Peach Tortilla, and his fiance. So that was the first taste of doing with 3 people. But like. You want to go meet him? We could bring him here, and you could come here. And we can do because I think we really can create a conversation because we're going back and forth, and I'm just putting these out there. But anybody listening who's wondering, that's the object here is like to connect people and actually.
And I ride by the place.
Well, you can go there, but I'll just tell you now: if it works, it doesn't. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But he's coming. I'll give you the date. If you want to come, you can.
Yeah, that sounds good. We should set that up.
Yeah, it's next Friday. We'll talk about it. We'll see if you can get out here.
Yeah. Let me check my schedule.
Yeah. But that would be awesome. That would be awesome. It was fun to do it with the 3 people, and I think we're going to see some more of that soon with Spread & Co. is Guy Austin and Rosemary. Really, it was Rosemary's baby, the company, and Austin's now they're going all in on it, and they're going to come on, so that'll be 3 people, and I just think it's better. We can even do 4 people.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, definitely. I really thank you for coming out.
Absolutely.
Good. I'm glad you've enjoyed it.
All the way out to North Buda.
I mean, it is out there. But what's beautiful about this is if you pull out of my subdivision here and take a left, you're like in the country.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
I actually passed it up accidentally.
Oh, did you? Well, there's the Valentina's down there, the barbecue spot. I don't know if you've heard people talk about that.
Yeah, so a friend of mine lives very close to here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Olympic Heights and...
Yeah, he lives in another kind of closed-in neighborhood where one street in type thing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's mentioned Valentina's, right?
Maybe. Like I said, that was maybe the last time I got down this far.
Oh, okay. But really, you can go that way and be in the, in the shit, in the traffic, and 35 or Mopac, or you take your pick, or you can turn that way. And you're like immediately like looking at the country and you're driving towards the Salt Lick or something. And I don't know, it's pretty nice to be able to just say, fuck this and turn left.
Yeah.
Go for a drive.
That's probably a hard pill to swallow some days, like forging your way into the city.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's why I said I sound cynical when I talk about the traffic growing. I know we all deal with it, so I don't care. But I've seen it grow, and when I leave here, it's just there's a lot of people out, and yes, it can be a little hectic. But I do it every day. It's like anything.
Strangely enough, people, I feel this is what happens. People say like, I want to move outside of town a little bit, so I have, and then 10 years later, you're not outside of town anymore.
Well, it's like I said,
5 years later.
But that's how I feel this is going. So we've got, if you turn left before you're actually into the country, they put up like a South Side Flying Pizza, and that's like, I'm like, whoa, okay. As soon as I saw that, I was like, and then they put up the South Austin Beer Garden. And there's all these things. And I'm like, all right, well, it's coming. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like slowly spreading out where this might be a part of town where you just, you know, the kind of thing where you stay down here. You know what I mean? Like you go to your grocery store and you've got a whole strip of restaurants to eat at. I don't necessarily fancy that, but I think it's coming.
I do like that, that neighborhoods are built for their own... for their own entertainment in some way. That not everybody has to like funnel their way into downtown.
Yeah. That's okay. That's what I don't like is just having the more people.
Right.
But it's you got a point there though. Like if we can, because right now we've got the barbecue spot and like Southside Flying Pizza. I mean, there's not tons of options. There's a couple other things down there, but. Yeah, if they throw some other things down here, it's hard to go get a good bite to eat down here. I mean, I don't know where to go ever. So if I want to go somewhere, I got to go downtown.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't ask you. And we almost wrapped this up. Where are your spots to eat?
Oh, so I was saying El Zunzal.
Oh, we did talk about this. My memory.
That's a good place.
Oh, I asked you this. Wait, that's why.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a few other. There's a few other places. I mean, honestly, like you can't beat like going to East Side Pies for like a slice of pizza in 5 minutes. You know.
Have you seen the new spot, like that thing they're constructing on the east side there?
No, I'm just the one on Rosewood there.
Go look at the east side location. It's like it's on the corner. They're putting up this huge, real fancy white looking building. It's all connected though.
Oh, okay. That used to be a record store there.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
nice.
Like I say, this Oroku place, Oroku. I think I might try tonight.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's exciting too. And if it's good, you guys can go there.
Yeah,
it's right next door, right?
Yeah, it's like.
Fingers crossed, right?
We can ride our bikes there without having to cross any major streets. So
it's got to be well priced and good food, and you guys will probably be there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, when it's close, it's easy to do that. So.
Oh yeah. That's why we had Independence Fine Foods, and that was a local guy named Casey, and he moved, and then shortly later it closed. But that was one spot that was, I mean. I could walk there. It's right outside this little strip here. And
is that down here?
So it was, there's the Cube Smart, and that you passed right before you came in. It was right there in the strip on the corner. And it was decent. You know, they could go get a burger and whatever. So they did a soup of the day and all this stuff. And it was real small, and it was perfect. And they closed, and now I guess the Moon Tower purchased that, and they're going to put a bar, restaurant. I don't know what they're going to do there, but
where the hell is the Moon Tower?
It's directly across the street.
Okay, because I thought they were all moon towers, all those light things. I thought that was the whole point. I didn't know there was one that.
No, it's a bar.
Oh,
there's no Moon Tower.
Those lights that are in town, those are the moon towers.
Right. But this Moon Tower is not like.
That's tricky. That's tricky.
It is. But it's right across the way there. And there's like a food truck station there. I thought there was multiple, but I think there's only one. And it's called Liberation. And that's Camden. And he's at Phoebe's Diner. It's his food truck. He's going to come on here eventually. Camden, if you're listening, come on, please.
You know what's a cool place that is down here is Little Darlin'.
Yeah, I've heard that's been suggested a couple times.
You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's a train track or a creek behind them, but they have a huge outdoor space. They got a pretty cool menu.
You're I think the third person who suggested that. And typically, I'm not the type that goes out very often because I'm out all day. But the more I've done these, when I get these suggestions, especially when you've said that for the third time, I end up going. So I'm gonna check that out. I might go today.
Yeah, their menu is pretty cool for a bar. I mean,
yeah, that's what I've
interesting.
Heard. That's what I've heard. Oh, yeah, so there you go. That's a good suggestion, right?
All right. Well, it was
Thanks,
cool.
man, for sure.
Absolutely.
Chef Mike, have a good day, man.
Thank you.